The woman that was too big to get in the Lyft car and got rejected is now trying to sue Lyft for millions of dollars. I'm not, hold on.
Blanding tells us she was just trying to get to a Detroit Lions watch party this month when her Lyft rolled up.
As I'm walking, I see him like making faces or whatever. I'm like, oh man.
She already knew.
I can fit in this car.
I'm gonna need you to be so for real right now. That woman does not deserve a dime. I know several creators have talked about this situation. Like, that's how I ended up finding about it, because there was like video after video on my FYP about her like getting upset that the Lyft driver wouldn't let her in because the Lyft driver had a smaller car. Now, here's the thing. Is I grew up plus size. Like, I also grew up knowing a lot about cars. And on top of that, I've had my own experience. Well, technically it was my parents that had the experience with somebody who was much bigger. Because we're not talking about a BBW. She is like a SS BBW, which there's nothing wrong with. Live however you want to live. But honestly, that woman should be grateful that the Lyft driver turned her down. You want to know why? That's not just his tires he had to worry about. Now, she's upset because he mentioned his tires and stuff and how she could not get into the car. Here's the thing, is it's the axle, the brakes. There is a lot that can go wrong. My parents had a friend who was an BBW, sorry. The woman was a little over 400 pounds, right? Looked about her size, the woman in the video size. And she got in the back of our older car. It was a Pontiac. It was about the same size as the vehicle that the Lyft was in. And it literally did hundreds of dollars. Now, keep in mind, this is back then, too. This was like 15, 20 years ago almost. So this is like when I was little. And it literally did hundreds of dollars of damage. Nowadays, that'd be even more. Like, cost would be even more. And that was just from her being driven 10 miles down the road. Like, the car broke down. And as a lot of bigger women have pointed out, because there's a lot of plus size women who are like, yeah, girl, no. Because as they've pointed out, there is multiple kinds of Lyfts and Ubers. You could have gotten an XL or something. That $2-3 extra that you didn't want to spend could have cost this woman over $1,000 in fees from Uber when the Lyft driver, when the Lyft driver had all those mechanical issues. But it also puts the Lyft driver in a bad situation too, because even though, yeah, he could probably fight and get Lyft to like pay for it and then make her pay for it, basically, there's also all the time he would be out of work for that too. Like, he's risking his job. And that's if Lyft pays for it, because you could also have the issue of like him getting stuck with that like over $1,000 in repairs because of that. Because yes, there is weight limits on vehicles, and putting all of that weight in one spot, like she would be in like what, 2 seat, like it basically be all in one seat in the middle. And that's not me dissing her, but I'm just like being realistic by her width. There's, like being all in that would just completely screw up the axle, the brakes, but the car should just completely, everything. Here's the things. I love plus size humans, okay? I've got the ex-boyfriends and the ex-girlfriends to prove it. I've got video picture, and y'all have seen, so there's a few thousand of you who've seen my relationships and stuff. That's why I always have an SUV or a minivan. Now, I know I say it's for the kids, but there's other purposes behind it when the kids ain't around, but anyways, I see people who want to defend this woman. Now, majority of people are like, yeah, no. Even other plus size people are being like, yeah, no, girl, there's no way. You clearly doing this for attention. The fact that she's on the news and stuff now, and the way she has tried to like make this man seem like a bad guy. This is not fat phobia at all. There's nothing fat phobic about this. This is just being realistic and being like, hey, yeah, so I can't do that. One of my exes purposely, like, his friends were trying to get him to get this car one time, and he was over 400 pounds, and he was like, yeah, no, dude, he even said, like, no, he cannot have that car, because he's like, I know all the trouble it'll cause because of my weight. He's always driven like an SUV or a minivan or something because he's realistic. He knows. Once again, I was plus size myself for a majority of my life. You can go back, if you want to scroll back to 2020 on my page if you don't believe me, and look at any of my Fat Gum cosplay videos. There are so many comments on it. The only reason I lost so much weight, like lost almost 100 freaking pounds at one point, is because I was super sick with a heart infection. Like, and couldn't eat for months. I literally had to get my homecoming dress from Lane Bryant because there was no other, we didn't have all these stores like we do now when I was a kid, because everything was freaking tiny and nowhere else had something that would fit me. Unless you like special ordered it, and that was like way too expensive. Which is still a problem we face today, but that's not the point. The point in this video is, no, she does not deserve a dime. And if she gets any money from this, I'm going to be royally pissed, because what the no, that man did nothing wrong. Lyft did nothing wrong. She wanted to save $5 or $6 by not getting a vehicle that she knew could handle her. It's just like, We talk about this all the time, about people who will put their, like, to 8, 9-year-olds and a 2, 3-year-old stroller and then be surprised when it breaks and it's struggling to push. This is the same concept. Things have weight limits. Not to mention the safety risk. What if that, like I said, all that damage would have had, like, maybe not all of it, but highly likely all of it, but there would have still been some damage no matter what. And what if that damage hit while they were on the interstate or something? It took the car out, and then now suddenly you're in a wreck. It's a liability. She doesn't know. No, we're just swear to God, if this woman gets any money, I'm gonna be pissed because no. What do we come to?